This is some pest management that we've undertaken here. The theory was the rats were coming from the trees to the roof and getting in the building. But in fact, what we really discovered was that the defenses of the building were being penetrated by the rats. So what we did is we have surveyed all around the building, found every possible entry point, and tried to mitigate. This is the cabinet for the hot water heater. And a drain line penetrates the door of that cabinet. And this turned out to be one of the entry points. So we have meshed it off right here, and we are maintaining 2 traps in this cabinet in here. We have come back for the reinspection. We caught a rat the first time, and this time we were finding they're not getting in. And the noise in the attic has also ceased. So it appears that we have been successful. We have done other mitigations around the perimeter of the building, and I'll go ahead and show those to you right now. We troweled up over there in the corner with a little bit of mortar. We saw a little entry point there. We mixed a little batch of spec mix concrete. We filled that little void, that little cavity, and blocked off that entry. And now we're going to work around the other side of the house. There was a little gap present right here, just large enough for a mouse to enter. So we have mixed up a little batch of spec mix concrete, and we've filled this void as well. Right at the sill plate at the stem wall, we observed a small gap across here, and we have filled it with mortar as well. This molding has been added along the bottom of the door. We had about 5/16 of an inch clearance between the door and the threshold, and this little piece of molding has been adequate to stop this point of entry as well. Doorways and thresholds and gaps around windows and openings like this are common places of entry for rats and rodents. They get a little bit of the warm draft coming from the building, they get the odors from the building, and this keys them to try to open up an entry point. We have thwarted them with a simple piece of wooden molding we put up with drywall screws. Here we have a foundation vent. This is an older building with a rock foundation, and we have a clay pipe as a vent opening for the foundation. The wire mesh has been used and formed to this opening and pressed into place. So no entry is possible here for rodents. This has been blocked off securely. And this is a common trouble spot, is the interface between old and new construction. And this is what we had here. There's a gap between the new and the old construction, and there was a fairly large entry point down here. Using mortar and stones, we have closed up the entry point here. This is tight and secure and out of danger. The 8 or 9 entry points that we discovered on this house, we've blocked them. Just about all of them have been blocked off now, and the rodent entry has ceased. We did trap 1 rat out of the building, and there has been no noise in the attic since. Turned out it wasn't the tree that was at fault here. Trees are often blamed for the entry of rodents into buildings, but what we find is rodents can climb from trees onto buildings, but that does not give them entry to the building. The building must have a defect. There must be entry points in the building for the rat to get in. Even a 1/4 inch hole, a 1/4 inch gap is big enough for them to chew open. It's large enough for their mouth parts to get in and enlarge a hole, especially if it's wood, like wood shingle or something of that nature. They can open up. So we want tight sealing to all potential entry points, and the rat can easily be excluded. And this is the way to do it. We don't want to solve this problem with poisons. It's going to go up the food chain and do serious harm to the environment. So we want to do it all with a snap trap, proper baiting, and then closure of the entry points.